Message from the author. Quote, if you're worth it, ladies, he will invest in you, do his best to be the best guy for you, and give you everything he's got, and without you ever even asking for it. You know, I love that quote. I'd like to say that I live by it, in the sense that the gal of my dreams will experience exactly that. I will invest in her, be the best guy to her, and give her what she needs, all without her ever asking for it. Why? How? Isn't that what every woman wants in a boyfriend and ultimately a husband? Women output what they receive. Since their natural output algorithms are that of joy, fun, sharing, nurturing, and pleasantries, why not amplify their output by being so good to them beyond the norm? You know, most guys don't. And as a result, our ladies don't really live up to or experience their full loving potential. Wouldn't you agree? Granted, many women today have also lost what it means to be a woman, which is best described as feminine, sweet, kind, caring for one man in her life, knowledge of how to run a home and raise children, among other things. Instead, she's told to have sex like a man and sleep around and spend her prime years chasing after multiple jobs, which, by the way, 10% of women have careers. 90% have jobs they hate and quit every 3 to 5 years. That's reality for you. Now, I've heard women are told to embrace some kind of, and again, this is a book about fantasy and sex, so I just want to bring this up. I've heard women are told to embrace some kind of hoe phase and some other kind of crap. To be honest, where does that really lead her? Alone, single. Now, not all women are like this, absolutely, but you get what I'm trying to say, in the sense, besides, there are women who aren't like that at all, who don't sleep around, and yet they too find it hard to find the love they deserve from the men that they encounter, attempt to date. Hence, they too wind up alone, single, and still on the hunt for love and romance. Guys aren't off the hook either. They too should focus their energies on making money, improving their intellect, making a life for themselves, and saving themselves for the right woman to walk into his life who could enhance it and not drain it. It's probably fair to say that both men and women want to find someone, potentially marry and maybe start a family one day. Or if they're divorced, widowed, or single with kids, hey, no one likes to be alone. We all want somebody to love and to love us back. Alas, how we have strayed far from the way things ought to be where dating, love, and romance are concerned. Today, so many people, specifically women, are single, drifting, putting themselves out there only to get hurt and taken advantage of time and time again. Well, I say enough. No more. You know, having written other relationship books, I finally decided to write Fantasy Boyfriend to share with you, in sort of a fantasy plus reality, what's truly possible when you find and date a real-life fantasy boyfriend. That is, how does he treat you? How is he patient with you? How does he look out for you, your well-being? And not just for his own physical needs and urges, you know what I'm saying? What kind of conversations would you have inside and outside of the bedroom? What questions would you like to ask him? How would he answer? How does he make real, intimate love to you? Does he make you orgasm multiple times? And before he gets his, do you come first in the bedroom? Why not? You better. That's rule number 1, ladies. You know, as you read this book or listen to the audio version of Fantasy Boyfriend recorded by the author himself, that's me, you will discover exactly how your fantasy boyfriend should act, think, talk, and treat you. You know, Fantasy Boyfriend, the book, is kind of like going on a multitude of adventures and having multiple conversations with the type of boyfriend you would love to have in your life. Pay close attention to the topics that come up and how he, and the female character, responds. Can you relate in some instances? Do you like what you read, hear, or experience through this book? You know, by the end, you might just ask yourself, where is this type of man? I want him and only him. If that's the case, then how far would you go to find him? How long would you wait for him to walk into your life? How would you save yourself and best prepare yourself to win his heart and love for a lifetime? Could you even spot him? Perhaps he's got his eye on you and you don't even know it yet. Or you brushed him away thinking he wasn't the one for you. Little do you know that he probably could be the one for you. Who knows, right? So get ready. You're also going to experience some true-to-life sexual and erotic adventures like you've never been told or experienced before. As you make your way through this book, from start to finish, look back into your own past relationships or even your current one, even if you're married or in a relationship. And how does your love life compare to what you're about to read or, of course, listen to? If necessary, take what you learn, apply it in your own life. Stick this book or shove this audio into the hands or ears of your present, future boyfriend, husband, and say to him, hey, here, I want this done to me. I'm sure if he's told what to do and it makes you happy, I'm pretty sure he'll be all over it and you and PDQ. Stands for pretty darn quick. At least that's my hope for you, ladies. At the very least, take what you like, apply it to your own life, and enhance your life and more in ways you never thought possible. Much of what you'll read, or of course listen to, is absolutely possible. I know firsthand, as I've lived much of what you're going to come across in Fantasy Boyfriend. Personally, I wouldn't want to live my life, as a man, any other way. That is, in how I treat my gal. I want to be her fantasy boyfriend through and through and in real life. You see, I'm worried for you, ladies specifically. I'm worried how the landscape of love and romance has declined so dramatically in the past 10 to 20 years. To date, there are more singles out there looking for love, not finding it, and wasting years away during the prime of their life, not finding and falling in love. I know of a woman right now. She's 25 years old, and she has yet to find love, be in love, be loved, and has lived half of her prime years in her 20s, single and extremely alone. I predict if the right kind of man doesn't walk into her life, she'll be alone for all of her 20s. That's 10 years, the prime of her life. And she has found no one interested in her beyond just the casual hookup or some other short-term interest. Sadly, she's not the only one. I know women in their 30s, 40s, and 50s who have been single for years on end and with no hope in sight of finding a man. This is not the way it ought to be. So, with Fantasy Boyfriend, here's what I wish for. I wish to put you, ladies, on a faster track to finding, hanging out with, securing, and living with the man of your dreams. Well, maybe not the man of your exact dreams. You know that list that is like very long and got to shorten it a little bit. Let's start with a man who at least has a pulse, right? And is under 105 years old, right? That's a good start, right? I'm kidding, of course. So keep listening to the audio program, of course. Alert message here, ladies. You have to understand something. More men than ever before in the history of the world want nothing to do with the world we live in. Responsibility, let alone women and dating and marriage and having kids. Why the gloomy stats? I mean, it's happening all over the world. There's a lot to be said as to why we are in the state of dating decline today. But that might be reserved for another time, a book or a seminar. There is, simply put, a fast shrinking male population who have any desire to become boyfriends or husbands. Shocking, I know, and very sad. This is why I wrote Fantasy Boyfriend. Number 1, to show you what's possible. As many women today have never had a quality relationship with a man before, and so they must be shown, or told, what it's like. Number 2, to give women the exact blueprint on how they should be treated. And number 3, to help men who do want a woman in their life to be taught the exact same blueprint required in order to win her heart and turn themselves into the Romeos and Casanovas you'd like them to be. And you, the Juliet, they'd love to fall in love with, first as his girlfriend and then one day as his wife. I know, that sounds like a tall order. But hey, I'm optimistic that with Fantasy Boyfriend, the book, and every single woman on earth learning and loving how they should be treated based on this book, we can help turn more men into what you want them to become, which is loving boyfriends and ultimately loving husbands. That's what you want, right? Believe me, men do want that too. They're just afraid. Not of marriage. They're afraid of divorce. And they're confused on so many levels as to what women really want and how they want to be treated. Do I open the door? Do I not? Do I pull the chair out for her? Do I not? I don't know. I'll just refrain and just stay back and let her just... For example, is chivalry dead? Again, should men open the door for women or let women get their own door? Men have been given so many mixed signals today. It's no wonder they're shying away from interacting with women. Ladies, we have to show men how you want to be treated. We do that, and they'll be all over you, and in a good way. Ladies, I want you to imagine right now what it's like to have a fantasy boyfriend after reading this book or listening to the audio version. Then grab the next good-looking guy who catches your eye and say to him, "Hey, I want you. I want to be with you. But I want to experience what's said in this book." Show him Fantasy Boyfriend. Tell him to go to fantasyboyfriend.com. If you want me, we have to live out everything inside this book. It's the blueprint for our future love life. Do you agree to do this with me? It's kind of the language you should use. Hey, desperate times call for desperate measures, right? Why not turn your fantasy boyfriend in your mind into a real one in real life, again, by simply sharing this book? Guys are simple, ladies. Tell them what to do, especially if it means they'll get to be with you, and chances are they'll race to do it for you. Ask and thou shalt receive. Remember that. Now, where is your fantasy boyfriend? He could be anywhere. Typically, your fantasy boyfriend is the man who doesn't run with the crowd. He's carved out a life of his own, with room for you, when your paths eventually cross and sparks fly. But you've got to keep your eye out for him. Don't listen to his words, per se. So much watch what he does, how he acts, and how he behaves. What does he do for a living? Men who spend more time alone, kinda, sorta, are often a little more smarter, more intellectual, per se. They have more time for you because they're not out, palling around with their buddies trying to score with multiple women. Not all men, and I'm exaggerating to make my point. Look for men who work from home, per se, or who have good jobs. Look for men who take care of themselves physically and don't drink much. They don't smoke, and I'm specifically referring to weed. And they love their mama. Now, I just had to put that in there because I love my mama. And every gal that I've ever met, whether it was a friend, girlfriend, client, and they met my mom, they say, "Bart, your mama's the sweetest mama I've ever met. Can you share her with me? I just think she's so sweet." So I just had to put that in there because there's also something to be said about how a man treats his mom, per se, how he would treat his gal. Just there's something to that a little bit. Anyhow, I just thought I would throw that in there. As you will see throughout this romantic tale, ladies, your fantasy boyfriend is quite the well-mannered man. He's what you want deep down. He's driven, and he drives you wild in the bedroom as well. Unfortunately, most women don't know what's possible in a relationship with a man. They have no teachers, no role models. Most of the men in their lives are either blah, boring, lack motivation, lack drive, lack ambition. Some are just afraid to come up and talk to you. A good boyfriend, if you don't know, should have husband and father-like qualities about him. The problem is, most men today don't have marriage on their minds. Most women do, and so does your fantasy boyfriend. He's got marriage on the mind. Like many men and women who are tired of playing the field and they don't go to clubs anymore. They don't do that kind of stuff. They want to find someone they can share their life with, learn from, bounce ideas off, and experience things together, grow. So, without any further ado, let us dive deep into the deep blue sea of fantasy so you can truly see how the perfect man should meet you, greet you, court you, entertain you, treat you, make love to you, and so much more now and for the rest of your life. For all intents and purposes, we'll just simply call him your fantasy boyfriend.